And so when you become a charitable and compassionate person, you step away from the whole, I'm going to scrutinize this person and find flaws in them, to taking on actually the behavior of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you just mentioned, the kindness, the compassion. We don't find a single hadith report from him where he points at a woman and says, what you're wearing is wrong and God will judge you. Not a single one. In fact, we always find leniency from him. You know, women once said to him, we don't have a shawl to come to prayer, when we come to prayer. And he said to share one.
Yeah.
But he didn't say don't come to prayer. He said just share one.
But that's the difference is now they'll say.
But now they will say, no, you can't step out of the house. My wife prays in the closet, remember? And if she prays in a closet, that she is more pious.
Again, that podcast.
And again, yeah.
This is the worst one,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
The worst one is when the guy was saying that he was on a walk and there was a sheikh there and he was giving everyone all this advice. And the sheikh said that your wife cannot have pictures of herself on her phone.
Yes.
And she can't send them to you because, and I'm pretty sure this is the example he gave.
Yeah.
If you were on a bus and a train, and if I have my phone and
And
I'm looking at it like this,
my
someone
wife's
behind
photo.
me will see a picture of my wife, and therefore you've exposed her beauty and you're a failure as a man, right? That's kind of the idea he's giving, and you'll start there thinking, what has that got to do with anything?
No. And that's trivializing and abusing God's teachings. You trivialize them to this level.
And do you not think he's objectifying
Of course he
women to such an extent that by looking at her face, you're doing her disservice?
Yeah.
You're doing her a disservice and you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, that's right. And that
I mean,
is the
what a
problem.
toxic way of
That's
thinking.
a toxic way of thinking, and that toxicity is being, is so damaging to relationships as well, because when you put segregation into that toxicity, what happens is that young men and women don't know how to be around each other.
There's like this animosity.
There's this animosity
between the two. It's like if
this is temptation, this is fitna.
it'll get to a point where you'll
evil.
see a woman who's very clearly in Muslim attire and you'll just be like, oh my god, can't even look at her.
Yeah, no,
I've done something wrong.
I've done something wrong. Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
even to look at her so I can walk on the other side of the pavement, you've done
Yeah,
something
wrong. Yeah,
something wrong.
Or the fact that human beings, when they talk to each other, naturally make eye contact.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong
exactly.
with that. You're actually giving respect to the other person by acknowledging. Imagine when the Prophet is turning towards people. What we now see is the guys do that. And so they're saying to the woman, you are a temptation. I will not even look at you. It is one of the rudest things you can do, by the way, when you talk to somebody. It's something I detest. And this has happened with me a few times, even when I was in Pakistan as well, where guys would just stay at the floor. And I think, is this how bad my influence and presence is, that you can't? And by the way, you see this behavior. You remember I had this racist incident
with
a few weeks ago with the lady.
Yeah.
And the thing that shocked me the most was that she was refusing to look at me. So while she was swearing at me and saying all kinds of really bad things, she wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the ground. She would not lift a gaze up.
In Egyptian era, they wouldn't look at slaves.
Yeah, well, there you go.
As an example, they wouldn't look at slaves.
Because then you're acknowledging that person's presence and giving them
they
respect.
weren't even worth.
Yeah.
They weren't worthy enough to be looked at
No,
by royals and
no.
and such. That's the kind of temperament.
Yeah.